And we are live. What's up, all you cool cats and kittens? This is the BoostRodeo live show.
Cool cats and kittens. I wish you hadn't said that.
Yeah, didn't you finally watch that series?
Yeah, we watched it. Once you start, you can't stop. Like the first episode, I was done. I was over it. But once you get to number 2, you can't stop. It's like a train wreck.
Dude, it's like crack. It's so horrible. You just can't. You're like, yeah, I'll open another beer and we'll just keep letting it roll.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Hey, cheers, by the way. Welcome to Happy Hour, everybody. Thanks for the votes. Apparently, you want me to get drunk because it was a tie, so I got to drink both now.
What beer you got?
Oh, I can't tell you. I was really looking forward to something fantastic, but I went with one of our key sponsors, Busch Light, Miller Light, anything light and cheap that comes in a 30 rack.
Hey, what's up?
What about you? What'd you bring?
So I have some Sexton Irish whiskey.
Oh man, that's so much sexier than me. I got Jack Daniels and Busch Light.
Yeah. Opposing ends. So I see we got. Let's see. We already got some people in the chat. Let's look. Oh, Marcos is in there from Car Mod's Garage. What's up, buddy? Good to see you.
Nice.
And JC. Good to see you, man. I hope you're doing good. Why is my camera all fuzzy? There we go. So anyways, we haven't really been on the channel in a while. I've been kind of slacking on getting videos out. Things got crazy. I hope everybody's doing good with the whole COVID situation and being stuck at home. That's kind of the same thing as us. We haven't really been wrenching on cars together because of everything going on. Work's been kind of weird. And so we're just slacking on getting videos out, but we got a lot of stuff in the lineup right now, actually.
Yeah, I think we hung out one time recently for about 10 minutes in front of my house. I showed up I think I needed my trailer for something that we were doing around the neighborhood. So I saw you for another 10 minutes there. But when's the last time we actually turned a wrench together?
To be honest, I don't know. Probably working on the Datsun.
Oh, yeah, I did hit that a little hard in that thing. But it is so fun to drive.
Yeah. Hey, we got
so
Joe
Ryan's talking about. Oh, hey Joe. Ryan's talking about B210 we picked up a while back that we had big plans for. We've leaked a little bit of stuff, but not too much. Trying to save it up. But Ryan did a lot of work on it, got it together, so we've been putting it around a little bit right before the COVID thing hit. So I think that was probably the last time we did anything substantial together.
Yeah, I think it was. And you guys haven't seen the 210 on the channel. It was kind of a car we bought. Well, actually, we got it for free. We didn't buy it.
Best price.
And best price ever. And we had some plans with it originally to do a build. But after kind of getting into it, it was just a really, really clean car for what it was. And it was really poorly set up to do any kind of build that we would want to do with it. So in the end, we just cleaned it up, got it running. We had to fix the brakes because it literally had 0 brakes when we got it. The fluid inside the master and everything was just grease. But we decided it was better because there is actually a following for those cars to just clean it up. We're going to let somebody else enjoy it that's actually into them and kind of go from there. And then we'll sell it and use the money to build something that's actually buildable, I guess is the way I'd put it.
You know what's so funny about the following on that car is I think every car really has some sort of following, some little niche group of people that just love that car.
Yeah.
B210 people and old Datsun people in general are so passionate about these cars. If they're not original, they do not want you to touch it. We put some messages out in some different groups. What would you do? We're thinking about doing this. And we all but got hung by all the purists out there that are real Datsun fans. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, it also didn't help that we were looking to do a drift car build. And our thought was, let's see how cheap we can possibly build a drift car. And so we got the car for free. I mean, so we already started off as good as you possibly could. But then our plans were, well, let's just slap a turbo on the little 4-cylinder that's in it. We'll slam the suspension, cut the springs, do whatever we got to do, put some gnarly flares on it and get some wide tires and just send the thing until it explodes. And then maybe we'll drop like an LS or just a Chevy, probably not drop LS money on it, but let's be honest, a truck 5.3 in it.
Right.
And send it from there. But after driving the car, it's leaf sprung rears. It's the narrowest car ever. It's got floaty suspension. The rear end and transmission would grenade immediately if the engine didn't from having a turbo on it, let alone, putting something like a V8 in it. So it's just, we would literally hack up every inch of the car to make it driftable. So it's just not a good fit.
But let me ask you a question. How does it feel to have the windows down in that car and cruising through all the RPMs as slow as they go and just drive that thing?
It's honestly pretty awesome. Like, it shouldn't be as much fun to drive as it is, because it's a 1.3 liter. It has like 70 horsepower, and it's a 4-speed. So the gear ratios are just horrible.
Yeah. There's something just nostalgic about it, though. Just cruising that, those hubcaps are priceless. It is. You just feel like everyone's looking at you when you go by. It's so strange.
Yeah, and it's probably, I don't know, in my opinion, it's one of the uglier Datsuns they ever made. It does have some really cool parts in the lines, but overall it's just a goofy looking car. Like, they're just kind of quirky. Ours looks just like that, but like a blue color, but original hubcaps and everything. So that's something you guys will see on the channel here. We'll probably do we'll do a full recap on how much we got into it and how much we get out of it when we sell it and where the car's going, just to show you guys.
Yeah. Well, hey, what else have you been working on around your place?
Well, lots of stuff. We haven't really touched the Corolla in a bit. I mean, it's kind of been, it's just been sitting since we rallied it with the Grindhard guys. We do have some plans and some parts to go in that thing for Rally Corolla Phase 2, which we're pretty excited about, but we're kind of waiting until COVID gets over and we get all the parts assembled before we tear this thing down this time. But I think we can tell you guys it will definitely be boosted. It will definitely have a lot more power, and probably some safety features like a cage might not be a bad idea for once.
I just revisited that conversation from when we had a built Ranger when I was a kid. It was a buddy of mine's, and it was long traveled, no cage, wrecked it once. Everybody was fine. Wrecked it the second time and rolled it. Unfortunately, my wife was in it, and we learned that day that cages come first. We have not followed that standard at all with this car.
No.
It was more about getting it rolling and seeing what we had and just having a great time. And now the plans are to go faster than we probably should in this car. So cage will definitely be coming.
Yeah, we definitely need to get a tubing bender, and for not just the cage, but some other projects we have on deck.
Absolutely.
I don't know what else. What's been up with the truck lately? Not much, just driving it around.
Yeah, not much. I drive it a little bit with the kids just around the neighborhood. I try to stretch the legs every once in a while. Just been doing some maintenance stuff on it. I washed it. Of course, it rained the next day and then got windy and it became completely dusty. So the following weekend, I washed it again. It literally hadn't moved. It was just still sitting in the driveway. But the kids love washing it. There's something about this red. When you see this truck in person, it's got brush scratches. I mean, the paint is clear coat anyways, is in really bad shape. You get it wet or put a camera on this thing, and it looks amazing. The amount of metal flake that is in that red, and it's just whatever Dodge red I'm sure they were using at the time, because it looks just like some of the other Dodge Dakota Reds. But it starts turning orange, and it gets this almost pearl color to it. It looks amazing. So it's really fun to clean. The kids get a kick out of it, and I think what I'm going to do next, like I said, I've been doing some maintenance stuff, but I found some old polish in my garage when we were cleaning it out last weekend. And I remember I used this on my wife's Honda years ago, and it took every swirl mark, it took every bit of oxidation out of the paint. I think I'm just going to hit it this weekend and see if I can get some of those brush marks out. The end goal for the truck is really to get it wrapped in that original base wrapping from when it was racing. Yeah. And then, we'll do our BoostRodeo twist and the current sponsors and people that are helping the channel out, helping us out with parts and stuff like that, instead of the original sponsors. We've gotten quite a bit of love from the original sponsors of the truck. Vision X helped us troubleshoot some issues with the HIDs. Of course, Deaver, quick shout out to them. Sent them a note, told them what I was doing and working on. No questions asked. Sent a box of decals up to logo the truck up, and asked if we ever need anything to give them a shout. So we appreciate that. But yeah, that's kind of where that sits. You know, I would love to say we're beating on it and having a great time. I'll probably make another trip to the ORV park here soon, which we need to get the cameras out for that, because the last trip we found some pretty cool jumps, but all pre-COVID trips.
Hopefully we'll be going to the dunes here soon with the Grindhard guys again.
I can't wait for that. We've been talking about it since March or so. Yeah, the Jeep looks like it's almost done. They got some final welding to do on that and get body mounted, but that's going to be killer.
Yeah, if you guys don't know who Grindhard Plumbing Co. is, after this is over, go just Google, just search them on YouTube and watch a video or two. They're insane. They're two guys. One of them's just an amazing cinematographer, and the other one has insane fabrication skills, and they just build ridiculous things. Most notably for like building gas-powered Hot Wheels or Power Wheels cars. And so we actually donated Josh's kid's old Jeep Hurricane to them, and they're building into a 100 horsepower, 4-stroke, 4-wheel drive adult Power Wheel essentially. And so hopefully we're going to get to see that thing transform, because we haven't seen it since we dropped it off.
Ethan offered to let me drive Cindy when we were up there. The head gasket had blown. Ryan got covered in oil. It was amazing. So I did not get in there. I didn't even think I could fit in there.
I don't think you could fit in that one. You should fit in this one. Yeah. It's way bigger.
Yeah, Ethan made it so he said you will definitely fit in this one and be able to drive it. So looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the kids seeing it again, seeing that whole transformation. They get excited every week when they drop a new video. So we've been following it pretty close.
So what other builds do we need to give an update on? I guess the truck, we haven't done much except strip the old decals off and kind of prep some things, fix a few things around it.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a sore subject. We were awfully excited to get this. It was the right deal. We need something to tow our toys around with. Got it not running. Had it running in a few hours. We'll do some more updates and videos on that in the future. We were kind of holding this one back until we were ready to really release it out there, and it was dialed, ready to rock and roll. I brought it over to my place probably in the fall, I guess, to start wrenching on it, and I had some brake issues and stuff. Well, it sat over pretty much all of January and most of February. And when I got in it, the brake pedal went to the floorboard. So started tearing into that, and it's been an absolute nightmare. Who would have thought, a 3 to 4 year run of a truck from the 60s would be a hard time finding parts for, right? You assume a Chevy, they use the same parts forever. So, but yeah. I think I got it dialed in this week on which wheel cylinders I need for the front. So hopefully that I can pick those up tomorrow and get the brakes functional by tomorrow night. That's really the plan. It's running fine. I've been taking the kids for rides in it. They love it. But since the brakes went out, it hasn't really gone anywhere. I adjusted the handbrake so that it will stop when I get it into my garage and stop when I park it, but that's about where that's at. It's a really neat truck. It's super clean, as you can see. There's some wear and tear on it, but the interior is like a time capsule, and it really just kind of takes you back to the heyday of, American Iron.
Right. Well, we got a few questions on Instagram, so I want to go through those, and then everybody that's in the chat, we want to answer your guys' questions too. So start dropping them down there if you want us to either talk about something or you have an actual question for us. We'll get to those soon. So let's see, what was the first question we got? So Mason says we should race. I'm assuming he's talking about in the Supra, and I'm just going to say, I'm down, buddy, but I really don't want to see you blow up your car again. You're on round 4 of breaking shit?
Mason, he meant that with love, I promise. I
did mean it with love. I've been trying to help him out with the learning curve, but it's just he's doing a lot to that car, so he's learning a lot. It's pretty awesome.
I seem to remember a certain 17-year-old that was learning lots on a red Supra. So
yeah.
I think we've all been there on that. Yeah, absolutely. So
the next question we had is, what's your favorite car manufacturer and why? So I think I'll go first. Obviously on the channel, it's probably pretty obvious that it's Toyota. You guys have all seen the black Supra. That one's kind of my current baby. Way before that, as Josh was just referring to, I also had a red Supra. This was the first one you can see. And then behind it's actually my little brother's car, which was his very first car when he was 16 years old, which is pretty cool. So back just out of high school, we had kind of twin matching Supras for a couple years. And I took that car to a lot of meets. I used to drive it all around the Pac Northwest with other guys. So that one means a lot to me. I drug my dad into rebuilding it and painting it a lot of times and fixing it up. So he has a love-hate relationship with that car, seeing as it's still sitting in his shop because I got a little ambitious with tearing the entire front subframe out and all that. And then the black car kind of stole my attention. But in addition to that, I had a Tacoma that I absolutely loved. It's probably my favorite truck I've ever owned, just because it would go anywhere and it was so small and nimble, and the four-wheel drive system in those is just so solid.
I remember that thing. Nothing could stop it. It went everywhere.
No, like I had a 2012 F-150 right after this. That was the EcoBoost, and much nicer truck, better creature comforts, all that. And this thing did so much better in the snow or in the mud. Like just that all-time four-wheel drive when it was locked in with no traction control or bullshit to slow you down was just so much more confident, inspiring than the modern truck that had everything going on and trying to think for you. And I do miss that truck a lot. I wish it would fit kids, honestly.
Right.
I guess my only caveat to that is I was raised a Ford guy, and that was the one picture I had in here. I do have the 65 Mercury Comet that was a gift from my grandfather, and I was raised a Ford guy. My dad's got a 67 Mustang, a 68 Cougar sitting in his house right now, among other things, and so that's probably my second love.
Cougar.
Yeah, it's a pretty badass car. So I don't know. What about you, Josh? What would you say is your favorite?
For me, that's a really difficult question. It kind of depends on what the application is, right? Early on, I was a Chevy truck guy, but that had to do with gas. And then I got my Dodge diesel with the, Unicorn Cummins in it, and that became my favorite truck. But that was a diesel. So I would say, Ryan's got the picture up there. If you go back one to that Camaro, that was my first car, was a Camaro. So I'd probably say I'm a Chevrolet guy. I got the 62 Chevy flatbed now. Started out with an 82 Berlinetta, by the way. That is got to be the worst Camaro ever made. V6, good creature comforts inside, no body kit, no other exterior features whatsoever. But we did a lot of racing for what a V6 would do from 1982 with all the emission stuff. And then, my first truck was the Z71 you saw in the next picture.
Yep.
That one I swore I would never get rid of. I swapped 37s on it with a leveling kit and cut and hacked everything. This truck, if this thing could talk, if any of my buddies from back home are on this right now, they would have story after story after story. It never got anywhere super fast, but it went everywhere and always provided beer and tunes. It was like the most fun truck probably I've owned. And that's saying a lot with the Raider there now, but the Raiders, they're just too different,
Yeah. What's crazy though is
history in that.
Like you said, those are 37s, but in that picture, they don't look that big, but those are 37s. Like those are massive tires on that truck right there. Like, this one, they look a little 17s. Bigger, but they're huge.
Those were, when I bought my Dodge diesel, my plan was to turn this into a desert truck, kind of like what the Raider is. And my Dodge diesel ate these 37s alive. I had brand new 33s on the Chevy, and I went, I'm moving to the Pacific Northwest. How about we build a mud truck instead? So the 37s went on there, started hacking everything, pulled the fenders. Like I said, I swore I would never get rid of it. The day I sold it, I may have shed a tear or two. I'm not going to lie.
Quick shout out. Antonio is ducking out. Quick shout out. I want to say what's up, Antonio, and thanks for stopping by. He had to duck out of the chat. But he's always in the comments.
Appreciate all your feedback. Always in the comments.
I'm going to give a couple quick shout outs. So we got my brothers in here, and him and Joe should get together and they can be Miata buddies now because he just bought one. We've got, let's see, we still got a few other people already said hi to Carmod Garage. Old Jason from Old Car Guy is in there. Congrats to him. He's about ready to put up his 400th upload on YouTube this week.
Wow. That's huge.
Insane.
That's great.
It's insane. We're at 55. I see Connor's in there. What's up, dude? It's good to see you, man. I don't think I missed anybody. Okay, so let's go to our next question. Let's see what else we had. Dustin asks,
go ahead.
am I your favorite blood brother? Well, that's a yes, because I only have one brother, so you definitely win that title, bro. And then let's see, when am I going to finish my first Supra? So I think he's talking about the red one. I think the problem is I'm out of space. So I hope my dad doesn't watch this video because he doesn't know this, but right now it's sitting on his 4-post lift with the engine suspended from the shock towers because I have the entire subframe out of it, so I could replace every bushing and joint and ball joint in there. And I started building a custom oil pan, and just basically it was like, oh, the rack needs rebuilt, so why don't I just rebuild the entire front end of this car while I'm in here, right? Because that's how you do things. And so I've kind of been dragging my feet. I won't tell him that, but it's because as soon as it gets done, he's going to say, get this the hell out of my shop. And I'm out of garage space in my 3-car garage with my wife getting one spot. So I'm kind of patiently waiting until hopefully I get a shop built this year, and then I will conveniently get the car done right after that.
Does he know about the new one?
Yeah, he knows. I had to borrow his truck to go get it.
Okay.
So he's aware. Which we did, by the way. There will be another Supra on the channel. It won't be sticking around, but I did just buy another one that you guys will see soon.
Did we ever do anything with that Mark 1 on the channel? I don't think so. That thing is gone now, yeah?
No, but there will be a video coming out on it. That'll come out with the Corolla. Okay. It's part of the Corolla. There was also a Mark 1 Supra involved. So we might have a problem with Supras. I don't know. My wife says that. I don't know. She's not really a doctor, so I don't know if I believe her.
Right. Yeah, no, it's normal. It's just normal. Remember when we were like quasi car guys trying to be car guys? If you watched any of our old videos, like family happens, life happens, you kind of get separated from your passions a little bit as other things become more important to you. And that's kind of how the whole thing started. Really was, we realized one day over beers, I'm sure, that we weren't really what we'd consider car guys anymore.
Mm-hmm. Nope, definitely not. And it kind of happens that way.
One come in.
Yeah, go shoot.
I was gonna say I had one come in from Chocolate Cowboy Chris. Chris, we appreciate your support. You're always blowing our stuff up. Shirts, sweatshirts, hats. This question, I swear we didn't talk to him beforehand, but I love it. Is BoostRodeo brand coming out with more merch soon? Ryan and I have talked about this a little bit. You know, I know he's a Mark III guy, so I wore the shirt for him today. He's always rocking it. His kids rocking it. What do you think about a new Mark III shirt?
I think that's probably what we're going to drop next. We just came out with, let's see. So we've got a couple things on our website right now. We've got the Mark III shirts, just because that's where my heart is. We did a standard like BoostRodeo because race car, because we say that like every 12 fucking seconds in the garage. And then we did a Corolla shirt just because that community does not have a lot of gear either. And so
I love the way that came out.
Yeah, the Corolla, awesome. The Corolla shirt's rad, even if you don't like Corollas, just because I wanted to do something that was like a super simple, one color, like old school Japanese car club tee. So that one came out pretty awesome, and we have those available on our website. But I think we're going to do another Mark III shirt just because a lot of the pre-89 bumper guys have been asking for one. And so I think we're going to come out with another version of that. So we have two. The Raider probably needs some love here pretty soon too, although they didn't make a lot of those. So there's not a lot of people out there looking for them.
You know, it's like I said earlier, is every car has its, you know, little niche, and the people that have Raiders absolutely love them. They're passionate about it. It's been so fun to get involved in that community. And I see them around town every once in a while. I know there's at least 2 or 3 around town here, but I'm involved in some groups and on Facebook and some Instagram people that follow the Raider, the Baja Raider. And it's just like they love these things, and it's really an extension of the Dodge Dakota Durango platform. And so they kind of get sucked up in there. And when you start seeing pictures jump out, nobody's doing merch for a Raider. So I don't know what people would think about it. I'm sure we'd get some people to buy in on it, but it would have to be the right profile the right picture and really open up to other people. But I agree. Let's do some stuff on the Raider.
Yeah, I think we definitely should, because that's kind of like the whole point, is doing cars that are a little bit obscure. Like I know having a Mark III for like 15 years now, nobody made Mark III stuff. It was all the Mark IV. Like it gets all the attention up until recently. And so like I really wanted to do Mark III shirts and gear just because I wanted them like my whole life. And so I said, I'm going to make this for the community. And the same thing with the Corolla, the AE86 gets all the love, where the TE72 is kind of like the predecessor to that and shares a lot of the design work underneath in the chassis. But there's a huge community that has those cars and is building them, but there's not a lot of love out there for them. And same thing with the Raiders. So I definitely think that's coming too.
What a great community the TE72 community is, though. You got Rusty down in NorCal. He's always doing wicked stuff with his Corolla and always sharing it out there. If you don't follow him and you're a Corolla guy, it's Rusty Shackelford. Is that what it is? I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, great stuff. Great stuff out there.
Yep. All right, let me see what else we got for questions real quick. What's your daily? I just got an M4 and I'm loving it. Well, I wish my daily was an M4. I'll just say that right now. I don't know. You want to answer that first, Josh? What are you daily driving?
I don't know. I mean, I guess at least mine has a turbo on it.
Yeah,
it's not very impressive, but I have a 2016 Ford Explorer. That's my daily. It doesn't really do much other than sit in the driveway of the airport, but it's fun to tinker with and just do what it does. But it's the 4-cylinder version, so it's not very fast.
You can't really complain though, since it's like the company car. So like whatever.
Yeah, right, exactly. It was assigned to me. That's what happens. I sold all the other dailies, and everything else I have besides the wife's car is projects.
Yeah, I definitely know how
Would that make the Raider my daily then? I guess that's the closest thing I have.
Kinda. No, I see Marcos is ducking out. He says I gotta go get my 2J done. So yeah, get to it, man. I want to see it. He's 2J swapping his Beamer right now for a drift car, so it's been pretty rad. I'm all about that.
Wow, that's huge.
So dailies for me, honestly, the Supra is a daily. I mean, technically in the summer, like I drive the black one to work probably 3 to 4 days a week when it's nice out. The red one was a daily for a long time. Before that, I had a pretty sick daily. I had the Evo. That was probably my favorite daily driver I've had.
That car was so fun.
It did everything well. It did everything well, but nothing fantastic was the problem with it. I could drive it year round. It did fucking amazing in the snow. It was fun to drive. But then it had all the downsides. It was noisy because it had an ETS V2 Extreme exhaust, which has 0 mufflers, like 0, not even one. So it was loud. But it was like 350 all-wheel horsepower, just that perfect amount where you could pitch it anywhere, and the car was just so confident. But it was geared super short, so driving on the highway, you're at like 3,500 RPM. So it wasn't a great road trip car. It didn't get great gas mileage, but it fit the kids. So it had all these trade-offs. And then I think the biggest problem was, because it was my only daily at the time, as much fun as it was, I never felt like I could really track it as hard as I wanted to, or put more power to the wheels with it, because 350 was already at the limit where I knew it was pretty damn reliable. And if I broke it, I didn't have a way to get to work on Monday. And so the only reason I let go of that car was I kind of realized I'd rather have a daily that's just a dedicated whatever shit car. And then I ended up picking up the black Supra as a result of getting rid of that one and saying, well, now I can build something to the moon. And if it breaks, oh well, I'll have a crappy daily. So my crappy daily right now is, what is it, a 2002 or 2004 Buick Century that was like the loaner car that my parents had sitting around. And it's exactly what you're picturing. It's in old man gold and everything to the nines.
It's worse. It's worse than what you're picturing.
It's so bad, but yeah, it won't be the daily forever. I need a truck or something as an actual daily, just because we're always hauling crap. But
You know, my favorite part about that Evo was when you open the front seats, you had
Yeah.
Recaros. When you open the back seats, you had Recaro baby seats in
Yeah.
freaking Evo. It
I
was
literally
great.
talked my wife into buying the Recaro child seat just because I wanted it to match.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And actually, it was pretty perfect because after I sold that car, oh no, I didn't. Never mind. I actually have a Recaro in the Supra now, but my kids have outgrown that Recaro seat, so unfortunately, they don't match anymore.
Yeah.
And getting a car
won't
seat in
work.
the back of the Supra is pretty hard.
No, yeah. I had a Camaro. I understand the backseat problems, and you know my size. I ain't fitting in anyone's backseat, so it
No,
doesn't matter.
that's definitely true.
Did you have any more questions on there?
Let me look. Performance or looks? I'll try to be quick on this one. I'm pretty much all about performance. You know, it's function over form for the most part, but if you can pull off both, I'm all for it. You know, I want my cars to look good, but I usually build my stuff performance oriented, like the Supra. It doesn't have a lot of aero on it. It's low, but it's not insanely low because like I said, I drive it a couple days a week, so it's about as low as I can manage around town, and to actually put miles on it. And it's really built just for performance. The suspension is somewhat stiff. It's actually fairly comfortable in that car. I do road trip it, but it doesn't have AC. It really is all about being race car. And so every time, even when I was building the red one back in the day, I kept AC, I kept the suspension fairly soft and all these things. But when it came to like modifying the oil system or anything or fitting things space wise, it was always like performance came first, and then I would figure out how to make the function part come and make it look nice when I was doing it. And so that's kind of where I'm at. I don't think I could ever build a stance car as much as I respect them and love going to stance wars and seeing the build quality. I just can't. I don't know. I got to have both, or I got to have the performance for me.
That's funny. I totally agree. Thinking about that question, anybody that knows me would instantly say performance, and not necessarily meaning fast or go fast parts, but you look at my white truck, it was all about getting anywhere I could get and cutting the fenders. Who cares what it looks like, but we're getting there. You look at, some of my stuff now and it's the same way. It's like, I don't want to say I don't care what it looks like, but the function has to beat, or the performance has to beat the looks. Now, that's not to say I want to look good when I get there, but it kind of depends on what you're going for. Do you want a show car? Or do you want a driver? And I'm all about driving whatever we have.
Yeah, I'm the same way. So the last question I had was, let's see. Oh, let's see. Do you have names for your cars? I would say yes. So the red car is the first one I probably ever named. That one's named Delilah, and my wife hated me for that because she wanted that to be the name of her first child if it was a girl, and so I pretty much wrecked that for her, and she never lets me forget.
Well done.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's topic of conversation. She doesn't even want to see that red car.
Right. And then let's see, the Corolla. You want to tell the story how we named that one?
Oh, I love this story. This is great. So I think we had Sandoval's truck, my trailer, and the three of us piled in it to go get the Corolla, or at least go look at it. And we were pretty sure we were going to buy it. We test drove it and bought it. And on the way back, we passed a brewery. So we decided to duck into the brewery and have a little celebratory beer afterwards. So our waitress comes up, or the barback comes up and asks us what we're drinking. And she had this crazy cool accent, super cool accent. And so we asked her what her name was, and she said her name was Annika. And we all just kind of looked at each other. And then we decided right then and there, that was the name for the Corolla. It was literally outside of the window of the bar on the trailer when that went down. So our wives pretty much hate that, by the way, but it is what it is.
Yeah. And then let's see. So the black car actually has a pretty good name, and I attribute this to my wife because I was originally kicking around some other names and playing off the fact that it has a Jay-Z swap in it. And I told her some of the stuff I was kicking around, and then she goes, "Well, you should call it Beyonce." And I'm like, why? Why? Because Jay-Z. And she goes, yeah, because it's got a little Jay-Z in it. I was like, oh shit. We literally laughed our asses off over that joke. And so
that will break the internet with the proper timing. That will break the internet.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And we've been thinking about a name for the black truck, right?
Yeah, I was just going to say, so we had all kinds of ideas of how to come up with a name for the black truck. It's big, it's old, it's black, and got this huge, 12, 14-foot flatbed on it, whatever it is. And so my wife and I were talking about it one night and how we were going to name it. And she just spits out Elvira. And I was like, okay, well, that kind of makes sense, I guess. And so she Googled Elvira, the movie, and there's this like horror series from the 80s that was Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
Oh, that's
and
perfect.
So you have to look it up if you don't know what I'm talking about, and you will totally understand. And, all the names we were coming up with had black in them, and I didn't really intend for the truck to stay black. I don't mind the black. I don't mind the two-tone, but I kind of want to make it my own. That wasn't the original color. The original color is an emerald green. It's really a nice looking green, but if you saw it on the outside of the truck, you would understand why somebody painted it black, right? It's very dated green. The interior looks great, but so Elvira didn't really lock it into anything, but had some class to it and makes a lot of sense. If you Google Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, you'll understand.
Good name.
I know, it's solid. And
All
then
right.
the Raider, we got the Raider. We call it Baja Raider. The actual nickname for it is Helming. I think many people on the channel know the backstory and how I got it and why it ended up with that name. And down the road, when we do get it logoed up and stuff, you will see that come back. But everybody knows it as the Baja Raider, of course.
Yeah. So I want to show a little bit of love to the people that are in the live chat. So we got also Carlos in Super Garage. I don't know if I called him out. Connor's in there too. So we have Joe, Connor, which is Piston Soup, and my brother. They're all Miata buddies now, so they should probably go hang out at a Miata bar or whatever they call those these days. We don't judge.
Hey, Joe and I have been talking for a long time. I'm going to give a shout out to one of my buddies right here, North Star Taps. Joe, we got to go. I know it's not open. They're there from 4 to 7 a day for takeout, but we got to make that happen.
Yeah. And Joe did say, when we were talking about builds and kids and all the things in life that get in the way, Joe says college does the same thing. He says, I swore I would have had a Pro-Am cage car by now, which, I mean, you drive it like it's a Pro-Am cage car, so mostly
I don't
there.
know how many videos Joe has out on his social, but if he has some, you need to go check him out. It's Piston Soup. This guy sends his car and has car control like nobody's business. It's awesome. I wish I just fit in it, Joe. My helmet's all scratched up from the last ride we went on.
It's because you don't fit.
I don't fit in anything. Let's be honest.
And then let's see. Oh, so Jason, old car auto guy, he said that his 400th upload goes live in 2.5 hours. So everybody should go watch that. That's pretty rad.
Make sure you check into that.
I think we're at like 55 videos. Granted, we've been slacking, but still 400 is that's an achievement.
So most people know us. Most people know Ryan. He's usually the face of everything. But what people don't know is Ryan pours everything into these videos and spends a ton of time on the editing and making sure everything's right. If you haven't edited videos, I used to a long time ago. It is very time consuming and will take over everything in front of you and drive you mad, quite frankly. So, Ryan, I have a question for you. You're working on the videos behind the scenes that everyone out there sees. What do we have coming up?
We got a bit. So we did a special video for 1,000 subscribers, which we recently hit, which is pretty amazing. A YouTube channel takes so much longer today than we ever anticipated. It's really saturated platform. So we put a lot. I mean, we put 2.5 years in before we hit 1,000 subscribers. Granted, we weren't out there marketing and just begging for views and subscribers, and I don't feel good about plastering it over every inch of other social media, which I'm sure would have made us grow faster. But at the end of the day, I just wanted to put out good content and let people find it. So we recently hit 1,000. So we did a special video for that. And then COVID kind of hit, and that kind of tossed everything up. I ended up getting like this room. I spent a lot of time getting my office actually done since I'm having to work here now. And it was all half finished. So some things kind of pulled me away from videos. And then also because it's a special video, I always end up putting way too much time into them. So I've been kind of dragging my feet on that one. I wanted to find the right soundtrack and all the things for it. So we've got a video for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to make. We've got a couple more Supra videos coming out. Did some tutorials and build series and information ones. And a lot of people asked for more. So I have a couple of those on deck. Like we said, we've got a lot of other builds that you guys haven't really seen. We had the Datsun. We're probably going to do a little thing on what we did to the Datsun, what it is, and then what we get for it and what we end up building out of that. The black truck, we want to do a build series on the tow rig, but we kind of wanted it to be encapsulate everything from getting it the day we picked it up all the way to getting it running and getting everything fixed on it.
Hey, can I say something about that really quick?
Sure.
We don't have the footage, so it doesn't matter, but we did start shooting that, and we were having a great time. The kids were involved. The drone fell out of the sky, and I may have hit it with the truck.
You mean that I may have flown the drone into the windshield of the truck?
Well, there's that. I was trying to be nice.
At 50 miles an hour.
I don't know if you can see, but there are some replacement parts still sitting on my desk.
Right.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so we got a lot of stuff on deck, Supra stuff, the tow rig stuff, the Datsun stuff. And then, like I said, Corolla 2.0 is coming. We're just kind of waiting till we're really ready to launch that build series because we want to do it all at once.
Yeah, I don't know what everybody thought out there. If you want to comment, please do. The original build series on the Corolla was designed around episodes. So we did little short videos, and we thought it worked well. It seemed to get pretty good feedback from people that did engage. So if you're into that, let us know. If you want to see us do something else, definitely let us know. We can change it up at any time. I'm just waiting for that 1,000 subscriber video to come out. I'm super excited. I was kind of pushing Ryan on that, if you can tell. Which I have no contribution to what goes on behind the scenes. Ryan's the magic on that.
Yeah, I want to get it out. It'll be out soon. Let's see what else. Oh, Johnny was in the comments from GeForce Monkeys. He said he wishes they just actually got a Mark III Supra too. So I don't know. We'll see what's going on there. He says, I wish mine was as cherry as yours. And they're getting hard to find. It's hard to find clean ones. That's honestly, I'm getting fuzzy again. That's probably the only reason I bought the black car is I already had one. I didn't need to. Don't tell my wife that because she already knows it. But it was just my dream one. It was a 92 hardtop sunroof, all the rare things, and was in great shape, and they were getting hard to find. So they're definitely, they're getting to be rare cars. So it's cool that you guys picked one up and the story behind the one you guys got.
Yeah, hopefully one day Dustin will sell me his since he never drives it anyways.
I doubt that.
I know that will never happen.
I don't know. I don't see any more questions in the chat, so I think it's probably time we just sign this one off.
Nice. Hey, thanks for putting it together, Ryan. Thanks for everybody that joined in and contributed to this. I think it was a lot of fun. We tried to do this last year, if you remember. We had all kinds of technical difficulties, and so Ryan put together a new program after working with some other people in the YouTube world. So Ryan,
actually, thanks to Jason. It was Jason and Grant, which is Straight Six Fan is his channel, and then Old Car Auto Guy. They had me on their channel and actually introduced me to this app, which works a lot easier than the one we were using. So thank you guys.
Awesome.
So it was good. Thanks everybody who joined the chat. If you guys do have anything that you want to see on the channel, and this is actually perfect timing because I literally have like a sip of whiskey left.
Yeah, I just finished mine. This beer is warm. It's kind of embarrassing.
Yeah. If you guys do want to see anything specific on the channel, though, or have more questions, drop them in the comments, and we will do our best to make a video about them. And thank you guys for being here. Every one of you guys that has subscribed means the world to us. And yeah, it's good to hang out with you guys. We haven't been around for a while, but we want to change that.
It's a lot of fun. We couldn't do it without you guys and the support that you show, and appreciate you supporting the BoostRodeo brand. Hopefully Cowboy Chris will see this, and we really appreciate him. He buys everything that we put out, so he's just
That's
looking
true.
for more. So we
Yep.
appreciate all of that, you guys.
Yep. All right. We will catch you guys later, and subscribe if you enjoy. And like I said, let us know what you want to see. Thanks for hanging out today, guys.